Good morning children. Myself Tanuja Menganemis. Today I am going to take State Board's Standard 8's lesson number 2, that is Interior of the Earth of the Geography textbook. Children, before learning the lesson or start the lesson, we have to take a recap of what we have studied in class 7. So in previous classes you have been introduced to rock types, volcanoes and earthquakes. So what are the different rock types, children? Anyone remember? Yes, igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. There are volcanoes also, and there are basic two types of volcanoes, central vent volcano and fissure volcano, and there are earthquakes also. So let's study the concept of earthquake in detail. Okay. When earthquake occurs, what happens exactly? See here, because of the movements occurring in the interior of the earth, tremendous tension is created in the earth's crust. And when the tension goes beyond limits, the energy is released in the form of waves. And this results in trembling of the earth's surface, that is, earthquake occurs. From this, you must have understand the concept of earthquake. What exactly happens when the earthquake occurs? And what are the effects of these earthquakes then? Come on, let's see. Effects of the earthquakes are: first, cracks or fractures develop on ground. Landslides takes place which leads to sliding of rocks. Some areas get uplifted while some subside. Tsunamis are generated in oceans, and in coastal areas these waves cause great loss of life and property. Building collapse and there is loss of life and property. Transportation system and communication systems are disrupted. So children, you must have understood what are the effects on the human life through these points. Once again, I'll repeat it for you. Cracks or fractures develop on ground. Landslides takes place which leads to sliding of rocks. Some areas get uplifted while some subsides. Tsunamis are generated in the oceans, in coastal areas. Waves cause great loss of life and property. Buildings collapse and there is a loss of life and property. And transportation system and communication system gets disrupted. So these are the various effects of earthquakes on human life. Now, next question from this is, how are the igneous rocks formed? Now, when the molten material known as magma within the crust and lava on the surface cools down and solidifies, then the igneous rocks are formed. Next question is, what is volcano? Children, you know there is tremendous heat and the earth's interior is very unstable, and because of that there are some internal movements which takes place. So let's understand the concept of volcano. Hot, solid, liquid and gaseous materials are thrown out from the mantle of the earth onto the surface of the earth, and this process is known as volcanic eruption. Once again I'll tell you this. Hot, solid, liquid and gaseous material are thrown out from the mantle of the earth onto the surface of the earth, and this process is called as volcanic eruption. You know, during this process, ash, water vapor, various types of poisonous gases and inflammable gases, hot molten magma, etc. are thrown out. Let's see the next question. Which materials comes out during volcanic eruption? As I told you earlier, lava, gases, steam, dust, ashes, etc. are the materials which are coming out of volcanic eruption. Are these materials hot or cold? Yes, children, can you tell me? Yes, surely they are very hot. And in which state of matter are these material? So they are solid, liquid, semi-liquid or gaseous in state. Now, based on this previous standards, information what you know about the rock types, volcanoes and earthquakes, let's try one activity. For understanding better how was the earth formed and what is the structure of the interior of the earth, I think this activity you may have done at home before itself. Boil a half liter of milk And when the milk comes to a boil, switch off the gas and keep a lid on the vessel. Now, after 10 minutes, remove the lid and take it to a side and tilt it. Observe what happens. What can you see on the milk? In what form do you see the layer of matter on the milk? Remove this layer of matter. Take a note of the differences in the temperature of this matter and the milk and answer the following questions. So question first is that when the milk was kept for boiling, in which state was it? Yes, it was in liquid state. You know that milk is a liquid. Now when the milk was boiling, what did you observe? That steam started coming out from the pot. Now, what had accumulated over the lid of the vessel? If we keep the lid on some boiling material, then what happens? Small water droplets are collected on the surface of the lid. Tell whether the matter accumulated on the milk is liquid or solid. Yes, it is surely solid material. And was it cooler or hotter than the milk below? It was little cooler than the milk below. On which other substances can similar experiments can be carried out? You must have studied your mother preparing dal at home for making puran poli. At that time also, you may have a thick layer on the surface of the dal when your mother keep it for preparing. If not, you can observe it next time. Now, geographical explanation for this. Before boiling, the milk was in liquid state. After it came to a boil, steam started coming out from it. After some time, a thick layer of cream develops over the milk, and the temperature of the cream is lesser than the milk below. Thus, it can be implied that the creamy layer cooled faster than the milk below it, which remained hot and in a liquid form. A similar process occurred when the earth cooled. Scientists unanimously believe that the earth was formed out of solar system itself. Here children, the meaning of the word unanimously is with agreement of everyone. Initially, the earth was a gaseous hot balloon and it cooled down as it rotated around itself. You know that the earth rotates around its axis. The process of cooling took place from the outer surface towards the center of the earth. And as a result, the outer layer, that is crust of the earth, become cooler and solid. But as we move from surface to core, heat increases and at certain depths, the interior of the earth is in semi-liquid state. Now, man has always been inquisitive about what lies in the interior of the earth. Your children, inquisitive, the meaning of the word is curious, means eager to know. Man has been always eager to know what is exactly within the earth's interior, and this curiosity leads him to take some experiments and to observe and take some estimations about the interior of the earth. Now, a direct observation of the earth's interior has not been possible as yet. Through various methods, the scientists have tried to estimate about the same. To infer about this, the study of materials coming out of volcanic eruptions and seismic waves is the most important. For this only, in the beginning of the chapter, we have discussed what is the concept of earthquake, what is the concept of volcano, and which materials comes out from this volcano. Okay, matter coming out of volcanic eruption consists of hot magma, gases, steam, etc. When lava cools and solidifies, igneous rocks are formed. And through the estimates of the study of temperature, density and gravitational force and pressure, the interior of the earth was understood. Means the scientists have taken into consideration the temperature, density, gravitational force and pressure for understanding the interior of the earth. For instance, when we go deep into a mine, we feel an increase in temperature. We feel little suffocated. We are not able to breathe properly. Okay. Similarly, the magma coming out of volcanoes from the earth's interior is hot, and such estimations were made by the geologists. Several earthquakes occur in various places on earth every year. Now, as we have discussed what are the effects of earthquakes, in every year there are earthquakes happening in our surrounding regions, and several earthquakes occur in various places on the earth every year. Seismic waves are generated and these waves travel through the interior of the earth. The study of their direction and velocity help us to estimate about the interior of the earth. Man has also tried to dig deep boreholes in the interior to know more about the same. Now, all of you must have the bore wells near your buildings and all. So from this digging deep into the earth, man has tried to learn something about the interior of the earth. Think about it, children. Can we dig deep from one side of the earth and come out from the other side? Isn't it a funny question? Just think on that and write your imagination in your notebook. Do you know our earth was formed approximately 4.6 billion years ago? Initially, the earth was a hot gaseous balloon, we can say like that. The earth was in a gaseous state and it started cooling through the process of radiation. We know that the earth rotates from around its axis, and the earth then liquefied, and with time the outermost part of the earth cooled first and became solid. This outermost layer of the earth is called as crust. Even today, the outer planets of the solar system are in a gaseous state. Now, the comparison of the earth's interior. Here we are going to start the actual topic of our lesson, that is the layers in the interior of the earth. Let's draw a figure and we'll understand from the flow chart what are the different parts of the layers of the interior of the earth. Okay, there is one activity on page number 10, children, of 3 red color, yellow color and blue color balls of the clay you have to take, and you have to perform this activity on your own for the better understanding of how is the interior of the earth. Let's start with the flow chart. Dear children, the layers of the interior of the earth, there are basically 3 layers of the interior of the earth, and they are: first is the crust. The outermost layer of the earth's interior is crust. It is again further divided into continental crust, and oceanic crust. Second layer of the earth's interior is mantle, and mantle is further divided into 2 types, that is upper mantle and lower mantle. And third layer is core, and the core is further divided into 2 types, that is outer core and inner core. So, while going from the earth's surface to its core, major changes occurs in the temperature and density. With respect to these 2 elements, the earth's interior can be divided into following layers, and the layers are nothing but crust, mantle and core. Crust is again subdivided into 2 parts, that is continental crust and oceanic crust. Mantle is divided into upper mantle and lower mantle, and core is divided into outer core and inner core. I hope children, with the beginning of this topic, you must have understood the concept of earthquakes, volcanoes, the materials coming out of volcano, and There are three layers in the interior of the earth, that are crust, mantle and core. I hope you have understood this part. In the next video, we'll study each of these parts in detail. So till then, if you like my video, please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you.